Hi musical explorers, welcome to another lesson. In today's video, we will be continuing to do our level 1 theory book. So let's hop straight into today's lesson. Alright musical explorers, today we're going to be doing our level 1 lesson 6. And we will be doing our major scales of C, G, D, and F. So yeah, let's see, okay. So let's first learn about what major scales are. Major scales have 8 notes, which are all a second apart. They begin and end with the notes of the same letter name and have all the sharps or flats from the key signature with the same name. So basically, this here is an example of a major scale. This is the D major scale. So it consists of 8 notes from the low D to the high D. And as we go, we can see that there's every single note in it. There's D all the way to the higher D, right? And then it also has key signature from the major that it's given. So in this case, it is D major right here, right? So if it's in D major, then we will be putting like the accidentals that are in D major into the notes of our D major scale. So I hope that made some sense to you, but that's basically how we do scales. So let's do some exercises. Hopefully it is better and easier to understand for you guys as we go. But yeah, okay, let's do F major scale. Oh, never mind. F major scale is already done for us. Yeah, I think it's an example first, but let's do the second exercise. So we have G major scale. Notice how the scale is from G to G, but it is missing something. And the thing that it is missing is the accidental, right? Yeah, well, let's do a quick reminder or refresher of what is in G majors. So what key signature is in G major? Well, if we look aside, we have it like right there. We know that in G major, it has F sharp. So let's find the F sharp in our scale and let's write the sharp on the Fs. So where's the F in the scale? So this is G, A, B, C, D, E, F, correct. So that's going to be sharp like that. And that's it for G major scale, okay? So something we can do is we can just know that. G major, D major, like that. So yeah, we know in G major scale there is a F sharp because, you know, in G major there's the key signature F sharp. Got it? See, it isn't that difficult, okay? So let's continue with our third, maybe, example. This is D major scale. Notice how it's from the low D to the high D, right? Right. Now, what is in the key signature of D major? Well, yeah, there's F sharp and C sharp, right? Okay, let's sharp all the F and the C's in the D major scale. So we see that there's an F here, right? So then we're going to sharp that. And also C's, right? So it's here. So those are going to be sharp. And that is going to be our D major scale. Got it. Okay. Let's move on to our next page. Okay, we have more exercises. Okay, C major scale. This one's really, really easy. Now, what is in the key signature of C major? Well, there's nothing, right? There's no sharps, no flats. So, technically, it's already done for us, right? Awesome. Okay, now let's move on to our second exercise, I guess. So, draw these scales. Now, before they already gave us like the notes, we just had to add accidentals. But now on this exercise, we have to actually draw out the notes ourselves as well as add in the accidentals. So let's begin. Okay, so in C major? Well, it's already here, but let's see. Okay, so let's try to do this ourselves. So, C major. We know that it's gonna have the notes, like in C major scale, it's gonna have the notes all the way from C to the lower C to the higher C. Got it? So let's draw that out first, like all 8 notes, starting from this C to this C. Okay, this is in bass clef. So we're gonna do 1. So there's 8 notes. Let's count together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Like that. Now that is our C major scale. Well, usually in our next step, we're gonna add accidentals, right? But there's no accidentals in C major, which means we're technically already done with this one, okay? All right, now let's do our second exercise. We have D major scale. Now like the one before, we're gonna draw all the notes from D to D, okay? All right, so let's see, 8 notes as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's from D to D, right? Awesome. Now, what is in the key signature of D major? Well, in D major, there is F sharp and C sharp. Awesome. So let's write that down. F sharp and C sharp. So after we know the key signature, we're just going to mark it on all the Fs and the Cs. We're going to mark all the sharps on the F and Cs. Got it? Okay, now let's do F major scale. So same thing, same process. We're going to draw from F to F, okay? So we're just going to do F here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Awesome. Now, what is in the key signature of F major? Well, in the key signature of F major, we have B flat. So let's flat all the B's we see in the scale right here. Yeah, so there's only one B over here, right? Yes. So let's flat that B there, just like that. Awesome. Now let's do our G major scale. So again, we're going to do it from G to G. We're going to draw the notes from G to G, okay? Now this one is in treble clef, so we should watch out for that. So let's go from G to G. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Just like that. Now what is in the key signature of G major? Yeah, there is only F sharp. So we're going to sharp all the Fs we see in this scale right here. Well, there's only one F, right? It's right here. So we're going to sharp that one F to make it G major scale. Awesome. That's going to be it for this page. We did really, really well, right? Yeah, it's actually not that hard. Okay. As long as we know what's in all of the, what key signatures are in all of these majors. But anyways, let's move on to our next page. So in our next page, we have a scale game that we're going to play. So let's see, let's read this. The notes in each of these examples belong to one major scale, but they are mixed up. Draw arrows connecting the notes to put them in the correct order. The first one is given. All right, so I think instead of drawing these arrows, because I feel like it's a little bit messy, don't you think so? I think instead of doing that, we're going to label numbers. I think, yeah, from 1 through 8, right? Because there's 8 notes in a scale. So yeah, I think that's what we're gonna do. So instead of drawing the lines, we're gonna label numbers because the lines are a bit messy. So yeah. Okay, let's start. F major scale. So what note does F major scale start on? Well, they always start on the given note. That is like the note that's given to you, which in this case is F. So this is going to be our first note. F is going to be our first note. Well, technically there's two Fs. So which one do we start on? So since it is a ascending note, which goes upwards, we're going to start on the lower F, right? So this is our lower F. This is not our lower F, that's our high F. So we're going to start on this lower F here, and we're going to just label it 1. Now let's find our next note. Our next note should be a G, right? Here's our G, right? Okay, now let's label that 2. It's going to be our second note of our F major scale. What's 3? It's going to be an A, so it's right here. That's our number 3. Okay, next note is a B, right? But remember, it's F major scale. So what is in the key signature of F major? B flat. So this is going to be our next note, B flat. So it's not just going to be B, it's going to be B flat because of the key signature, remember? Awesome. Now let's do our next note. It's going to be a C. So it's right here. Awesome. Our next note is a D. It's right here. So that's going to be number 6. Okay, next note is a E. E is here. So that's going to be our 7th note. And our 8th and last note is going to be the same note that we started on because it's an octave, remember? It's just an octave higher than our first note. That means this F here is going to be, this high F here is going to be our 8th note of our F major scale. That was pretty fun, isn't it? Okay, now let's move on to our next page. We're going to play more of this game, but in G and C major. All right. Like before, let's start off by finding our first note, which is always going to be the note that's given to us because it says like blank major scale, right? So it's going to be G is our first note here, and here C is our first note. So let me highlight that first. Okay, G major. Let's find our first note. It's going to be our low G. So let's find our G. Where's our G's? Here, these 2 are our G's. But we always start on the lower G because it's a ascending scale. Ascending means the scale is going upwards. Basically, the notes are going higher and not lower. So yeah, that's going to be our first note. Like that. Next note is an A right here. Our next note is a B. Next note is an C, is a C here. 4. 5th note is gonna be a D right here. 5th note. Next note is a E. E is here. That's our 6th note. Next note is a F sharp because we're in G major scale. G major has in the key signature of G major there is F sharp. So instead of F, we have F sharp, right? Oh, sorry. Let's do that. 7. And last note is going to be the same note we started on, but an octave higher. So this is going to be a G as well. So this is going to be our 8th and last note. All right, let's move on to C major scale. So we're going to start on C, like it is highlighted. And we're gonna start on the lower C we see. So this is the lower C we see. And this is the higher C. Alrighty. So this is gonna be our first note. And just a quick reminder, there's no sharps, no flats in C major. So all of the notes are naturals. Awesome. Next note is a D. Where's the D? Here's a D. That's our second note. Third note is an E. Third note is an E. Fourth note is an F. F is here. That's our fourth note. Fifth note is a G. Sixth note is an A. So it's 6. Sixth note. Seventh note is a B. So seventh note is there. And our last note is also going to be a C, but an octave higher. So this is our eighth note. Awesome. And I think that's going to be it for today's video. We did quite a lot, but yeah. We went over some scales. We learned what major scales were, and we learned about the C, G, D, F major scales, and like how to find the accidental, like where to put the accidentals, how to draw out these scales, and we also played this fun scale game in our book. And so, yeah, that's gonna be it for today's lesson. In our next lesson, let's see, we're gonna be doing C, F, and G major and minor, 5-finger patterns and triads. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing you in our next class. Alright, musical explorers, we had such a productive lesson today. So we learned a lot about scales, right? And I can't wait to see you in our next lesson, which I believe is lesson 7. So yeah, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you in our next lesson. Bye!